So after begging, pleading, and possibly the commission of some illegal acts, my local BMW dealer let me take out the 2019 BMW 1250 Adventure. Now before we get too excited here, this is just a first ride impression and not a full-blown test, which I hope to be able to do in the near future. So let's talk about some of the things that are new, namely the new 1250 engine, the new variable valve timing, increased displacement, and new cam upgrade the horsepower to 135 from 120, which is great, but still about 60 short of a real motorcycle. On my short little test and with a brand new motorcycle, I really wasn't able to test the power. But I will say it was very smooth and motored along here just fine. I mean, it's still a boxer, and boxers are great, but you're still likely to hit one of the cylinders on a local fire hydrant and knock it right off the bike because you're stupid and shouldn't be on a motorcycle in the first place. Next up is the keyless features, which are great except for the fact that if you couldn't hold on to your key, how are you supposed to hold on to a key fob? Along with the keyless operation comes a keyless gas cap, which for those of us used to keyed gas caps with the BMW will cause you a bit of headache and frustration for the first 30 or 40 seconds until you realize the engine must be turned off before you can access the gas cap. Dummy. So the touchscreen. Yeah, it's nice. All this fancy stuff they put on motorcycles today is ridiculous. In my day, we'd go out riding around on pure junk. Then when the sun went down, we'd simply light a fire on the front of the motorcycle and ride all night. Who needs all this fancy HID stuff? It's ridiculous. Sure is a lot nicer and makes you crash less though. So the controls, seating position, ergonomics are all typical GS Adventure. If you want to know what that's like, man up and go buy one, or go read someone else's silly review because I don't want to spend any time talking about it. So as you can see, I'm just kind of putting this thing around the streets, which isn't going to tell me a lot about how it handles or anything else. But what you can't see is these Milwaukee streets are in horrible condition from the winter, with potholes, elevation changes, and outright jumps in some places. And I've got to say the suspension is quite impressive in that respect. The Adventure's a bigger, heavier bike and really has a great ride, which is why BMW sells so many of these friggin' things. I don't know if I'm exactly ready to change teams yet from the S1000XR, but hey, you never know. I could get older, fatter, and slower and decide that that's just a good bike for me. In all seriousness, it's actually a pretty cool ride. And if you have the means, which I highly doubt you do, I recommend picking one up. In your case, your painfully low testosterone levels might even raise slightly, but don't get your hopes up. Rather, go sit in front of the TV and watch some sporting events this weekend, you clowns. That's all for today. On to my next review.